If you know what you're doing in life doesn't feel that fulfilling, if you feel like you're not sure what your purpose is, I'm 99% certain there's something more for you. Like, God has something more for you to be doing in life, whatever it might look like, that you can discover and find out. And I'll just share a bit about my story and how, you know, there's still a lot more that I feel like I haven't seen yet, but there is a lot that I have started to see. And the thing is, with God, he can reveal parts of what your purpose is, part of what he's called you to do, and it still might take a long time for that to manifest. And that doesn't mean you can't enjoy your current circumstances, whatever you might be doing. You can still enjoy life, enjoy God, because he still makes the most of wherever you are, and he's got a reason for preparing us. You know, and there's a bit of a saying that, you know, the bigger the calling, the bigger the process to prepare you as well. And you know, sometimes we can get frustrated when things don't happen overnight, but usually and often the process is part of it. And I mean, with me, I remember a few months after I discovered God was real and I understood the gospel for the first time, and I just experienced God's love for the first time, I was just so passionate and on fire for him and what he was doing in my life as well. And I knew I just wanted to do that. Like, I had zero appetite or interest for what I was doing in terms of my work or my career at the time. And I just felt like I knew God must have a different plan or purpose for me, or I just wished that I could somehow, you know, turn what I was now passionate about into, you know, a full-time vocation somehow, but I didn't know what it would look like. So for me, it started out, I actually was at church one time and I heard a sermon preached. The pastor told a story about someone and how they discovered their calling, and it was literally just by crying out to God, saying they didn't want to live anymore until they found out what their purpose is, and boom, God answered their prayer. And then the pastor who was giving this sermon said he did the same thing, and that's how he discovered what his calling was. And I was like, well, if it worked for them and it worked for him, then surely it should work for me too. So I remember I got home that night and I just laid on my bedroom floor face down, and I was like, God, please show me, what purpose do you have for me? What is my purpose? What is my calling? What have you called me to do on this earth? I want to know. And over the next week or so, I had 3 separate occasions that confirmed to me part of what his calling for me was. And there was 3 separate occasions where I just received teacher, teacher, teacher. The first one, I was just reading through my Bible, just doing my daily reading, and I just happened to read the part in the Bible, which I didn't even know was in there, about the 5-fold ministry. If you've never heard about this, I'll read it now. So it was in Ephesians chapter 4. It says, and Christ gave some to be apostles, some to be prophets, some to be evangelists, some to be pastors, and some to be teachers, for the equipping of the saints of the work of ministry. So, but when I read that word, I was just doing my daily Bible reading. I wasn't looking for anything. I was just doing my daily Bible reading, and I read apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, teachers. When I read the word teachers, boom, something just leapt out inside me. I can't explain it. I wasn't looking for it. You know, like it, and I'm sure I didn't make it up, because if I wanted to make it up, if I wanted to just choose one for myself, well, you know, apostle sounds pretty awesome, or prophet sounds pretty awesome. Like, teacher is probably not one that I would have chose for myself, but I couldn't help it. I was just reading the words, and as I read through each of the titles, I was just doing my daily Bible reading, and then I read the word teacher. I was reading internally and not out loud, just internally, but when I read the word teacher internally, boom, something just leapt inside me. And I was like, whoa, that was strange. Like, it instantly caught my attention, because I was like, wow, okay, what does that mean, teacher? And then there was another day or so later, I was actually watching Joyce Meyer on TV. Regardless of what you think about her, you know, these days you mention someone, a church leader or a teacher or a ministry, and you know, half the world hates them, half the world loves them, whatever, right? Like, I'm just saying, I was watching Joyce Meyer, and she was explaining during one of her teachings that she's called to be a teacher, not a pastor. And she was joking around saying, trust me, you wouldn't want me to be your pastor. I'm too harsh. I'm created to be a teacher. And when she said that, I was like, it caught my attention again, because like, a couple days before I just read teacher and it leapt out, and then she's talking how she's a teacher, and I'm like, oh, and then it kind of like, again, I felt a similar confirmation inside me. And then the third witness, which completely blew my mind, was it was either that Sunday or the following Sunday, I can't remember. It was like very close to these two things happening. I was at church on Sunday, and my pastor, the pastor of the church that I was attending at the time, he came up to me before the service and he said, Peter, he goes, I need to talk to you after the service. He's like, I feel like I've seen something that I want to share with you. I'm like, okay. And meanwhile, I hadn't told him about any of this, like in my private time reading, you know, like seeking God and the couple teacher things that I had received. And then anyway, the service finished and I went up to him after when we were having lunch, and he goes to me, Peter, he goes, I feel like I've seen that you have a gift of teaching inside of you and that God's called you to be a teacher. I couldn't believe it. Like, you can't make this stuff up, right? Like, you either think I'm making it up and that didn't really happen, but it did really happen. And so, like, naturally you can imagine if you or me, you're like, what? You know, third witness within the space of a week, 2 weeks. So I'm like, that's it. Like, I was fully convinced God answered my prayer. Like, I was crying out, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? What have you called me to? And then within the space of a week, 2 weeks, I get teacher, 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 with the third one being the most dramatic. Like, you know, how could you plan that? So, so yeah, I knew that's what God had called me to do, and it made so much sense as well, like, because I'm passionate about everything that God had done in my life, and I love sharing it with others. So your calling and your purpose, it naturally aligns with what you're passionate about doing. And it doesn't necessarily have to be one of the fivefold ministry. You could be called to be a sports person. You could be called to be an artist. Like, God needs people in every sphere of life to shine God's light to the world around us. We're called to be the salt of the earth, a city on a hill, the light of the world. Like, you know, if everyone's just in a church, like, if everyone's just called to do ministry, well, what about everyone else? Like, how are we going to shine God's? So everyone is called to every sphere of life, and it's no more or less important, regardless of whether you're called to be one of the fivefold, or you're called to be a sports person, or you're called to be a scientist or an engineer, whatever your calling is. But I believe because God's made us and he's put the gifts inside of us, it'll naturally align with what you're passionate about doing and what you enjoy. And another clue could be the things that really upset you and you wish you could see changed in the world as well. That's another clue about finding, you know, what you're called to. But I would just encourage anyone, just do what I did and what I learned from the pastor that they did, and then the other like, it seems to work for everyone else. So, like, literally just get in your bedroom, close the door, you know, get on your knees, get on the floor, whatever, and just cry out to God, God, show me, what is my purpose? What have you called me to? And I believe he'll answer. It might not be straight away in an audible voice. It might be, but it usually isn't. It's usually God speaks to us in so many different ways. And like that example I just gave in my life, it was the Bible speaking to me, followed by another sermon speaking to me, followed by another believer, my pastor, giving me a prophetic word about something he saw, and all of them aligned. And all of them bore witness as well. Like, I felt that confirmation inside me when I heard it. So yeah, just wanted to share that as a story, as an encouragement. If you're one of those people that are not sure what your purpose is or what you're called to do on this earth, but you know it's not what you're currently doing, just call out to God. And I just want to encourage you, it might be a process as well. This was approximately 12 years ago for me, and I'm still not fully walking. It was only last year where I felt led to start this YouTube channel and start putting some content out there. Yes, God will still use you privately. Like, he still used me privately in terms of one-on-one with other people and whatever, to encourage, to teach, to bless other people, like all throughout that time, definitely. But in terms of like stepping out in public, it might take a long time. And like I said, I still believe there's a lot more for me personally that I'm gonna enjoy doing with God in the future. So God bless all of you. Hope you're enjoying these videos, and I'll see you on the next one.